Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And India have absolutely pulverized New Zealand in the second and final test match at Mumbai, beating the visitors by 372 runs, which is India's biggest win margin in test cricket in terms of runs and New Zealand's biggest defeat by runs as well. And I will be covering this test match at length on this volume of Crickazi Diaries.
Have a look at that, smiles up, oh, it's nearly taken someone out of the stands. That was a flat six right under the stand there, the George Giffen stand, up into the members, and it went like a rocket. Well, wicket 24.
Now, as good as India have been in this test match, I have to start this video talking about Ajaz Patel. Mind-blowing figures of 14 for 225 runs in the game, and more importantly, all 10 of India's wickets in the first innings. 10 wickets for 119 runs made Ajaz Patel only the third cricketer in the history of test cricket to manage a 10-wicket haul in an innings. Jim Laker, Anil Kumble, Ajaz Patel. End of list. Now, Jim Laker was a right-arm off-spinner, Anil Kumble was a right-arm leg spinner, and Ajaz Patel is a left-arm off-spinner. So surely the next bowler who will eventually make this list will have to be a Chinaman to complete the full set. Born in Mumbai, it was one hell of a homecoming for Ajaz Patel, and it really is a monumental feat. Unfortunately for Ajaz though, he does now hold the record for best match figures in a losing cause in a test match. And he will be feeling quite bittersweet at the end of it, as India absolutely obliterated New Zealand. But the Wankhede will surely remember Ajaz Patel's name till the end of times. He might have taken 10 wickets in the first innings, but he was not able to restrict India to a score of under 300 in the first innings, as the hosts went on to pile on 325, largely thanks to a match-winning knock of 150 in the first innings by India opener Mayank Agarwal. Mayank scored a vital 62 runs in the second innings as well, taking his tally in the game to 212 runs, as he deservedly bagged the Man of the Match award. As a result, after 7 test matches played on home soil, Mayank Agarwal averages a whopping 83.9 with the bat. This average, however, drops drastically to 26.76 in 9 tests away from home, and Mayank still has to prove his credentials overseas, and until and unless he does that, I do think that KL Rahul will be preferred over Mayank Agarwal in overseas tests. India's other opener, Shubman Gill, had a pretty good game as well. He scored 47 runs in the first innings and 44 in the second. And as impressive as the youngster is, his issue remains the same, of not being able to convert his starts into hundreds in test cricket. It's literally been the same story played over and over again throughout his 10 test match career. Now, the game was pretty much done and dusted by the end of day 2, as New Zealand found themselves reeling at 38 for the loss of 6 wickets. And then next morning, they were routed out for a miserly score of 62, which also happens to be the lowest score for any team recorded in a test match on Indian soil. Mohammad Siraj has made life extremely difficult for Ishant Sharma, as he replaced the veteran seam bowler in this test match, taking 3 wickets up front and setting the tone for India. He ended up with figures of 3 for 19 in the first innings, but the pick of India's bowlers was Ravi Chandran Ashwin once again, as he recorded figures of 4 for 8 in the first innings. Cheteshwar Pujara and Virat Kohli failed to trouble the scorers in the first innings, but then did score 47 and 36 runs respectively in the second innings. And it was Akshar Patel really who was India's third best batsman in this test match. Akshar scored 52 runs in the first innings, which was his maiden test 50. And in the second innings, he contributed with an unbeaten quick fire innings of 41 runs. Now, Akshar may have only taken 3 wickets in this test match, but his average with the ball in test cricket after 5 test matches is still 11.86. Surely Akshar has cemented his place in India's first 11 in test cricket played on home turf. India set New Zealand a colossal target of 540 runs to chase in the 4th innings, and all 17 of India's wickets which fell in this test match, of course they did declare in the second innings, were to left arm off spin, 14 to Ajaz Patel and 3 to Rachin Ravindra. Now, I wouldn't fault New Zealand's pacers too much on this track as it was a rank turner. But what hurt New Zealand in this series was their third spinner, Will Somerville, who failed to take a single wicket across 2 test matches, and I think it is that area that New Zealand really lacked in this series, due to which they eventually fell short quite considerably. New Zealand were rolled over by India for 167 runs in the second innings. Daryl Mitchell tops scoring with an impressive 60, and Henry Nicholls putting up somewhat of a fight with an innings of 44. But once again in the second innings, Ravichandran Ashwin starred with the ball. He took 4 wickets once again, managing figures of 4 for 34, which took his wicket tally for this test match to 8 wickets, and he was partnered quite well by Jayant Yadav, who took 4 for 49 himself in the second innings. Ravichandran Ashwin now has 52 wickets in Test cricket in 2021, and he has overtaken Shaheen Shah Afridi as the leading wicket taker in Test cricket in this calendar year. And deservedly so, Ashwin also bagged the Man of the Series award, which is the 9th such instance in his entire career, joint second most in the history of Test cricket for any cricketer. Another thing that we've learned in this series is that with the emergence of Shreyas Iyer in the middle order, things are looking quite bleak for Ajinkya Rahane heading into the future. Now, even though Rahane hasn't been amongst the runs for the longest time in Test cricket, he did fare quite well overseas for India. His batting average was always higher overseas than it was at home. And it will be interesting to see how Shreyas Iyer fares in South Africa against the moving ball, if India are to board that plane to South Africa, given that the new COVID variant has originated from South Africa. Now, it's always beneficial to bat first in a test match in Asia because it is very, very difficult to chase down a target batting last in subcontinent conditions. But I reckon that the result of this test match would not have been much different had New Zealand batted first. We all know just how strong India are at home, especially in red ball cricket. Their last series loss coming all the way back in 2012 against a magnificent English side. So after failing to close out the first test match, which they also should have won, India truly showed their class in the second test. I do feel that if India do end up touring South Africa for that 3 test match series, it will be a golden opportunity to win their first test series in South Africa, and that is India's final frontier. They have won test series everywhere else across the globe. That's a wrap for volume 92, folks. As always, if you enjoyed this video, like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon in order to be notified about all of my latest videos. I'll catch you tomorrow. I'll be reviewing Pakistan's second test match versus Bangladesh in Dhaka. That's all for now. Qazi off the mic.
Have a look at that. Smiles up. Oh, it's nearly taken someone out of the stands. That was a flat 6 right under the stand there, the George Giffen stand, happy for the members, and it went like